I would like to introduce you to Distillery 291, and they will be showing us how to make 2 cocktail recipes today, and I'll post those recipes in the chat when they're going on.
Cool. Hi, everybody. I'm Candy at 291. We are in our tasting room. You guys are technically in our virtual tasting room, which is really cool. Typically, when we're not in quarantine lockdown, we do a bunch of tasting fights and stories and everything about us. So I'm going to show you guys 2 cocktails that we make in our tasting room that are really, really popular, as well as kind of telling you the story. So we're just going to start with the story in the background and kind of what we do here. We are a award-winning whiskey distillery, one of the, probably the longest one in Colorado Springs. We're in the Ivy Wild School area, so if you know where Blue Star used to be, we are right next door. So you guys can stop by and see us when we're back open, and we are still open now, selling bottles from 2 to 8 as much as we can. So we do a couple different things. So we do a bourbon mash bill. We do about 4 of them all together, and then we do 3 rye mash bills and then 1 liqueur, which is the deck. If you guys haven't tried this, this is amazing for wintertime. But we kind of like to tell people just how we started and how we became a distillery. Most of the 291 products have a lot of meaning behind them, and the biggest meaning is definitely the story that we started with. So we were started by a man named Michael Myers. He was a fashion beauty photographer in New York. So a lot of people always come in and they're like, oh, Austin Powers, but he was pretty well known in the fashion world. He shot for Allure magazine, Vanity Fair, Estee Lauder, pretty much any and all names that you can think of. So in 2001, Michael lived about 3 blocks away from the World Trade Center with his 2 boys who were under the age of 5 and his wife, and they lived on the 34th floor of that building. So on 9/11, when that first plane crashed into the building, Michael walked his kid to school and saw that happen. Fortunately, everybody got out safe. The only thing was they couldn't go back to their apartment at that time. So they were kind of looking for a different place to live, and his in-laws lived in the Colorado Springs area. So they decided that this is kind of where they were going to go and what they were doing. The only bad part about that was Michael couldn't be a fashion beauty photographer in Colorado Springs. It's very different in New York City. So his life for a long time was flying back and forth and kind of doing photo shoots, coming home, hanging out with his kids, and then doing up another photo shoot. And eventually he got really tired. That's a long fly. So I can only imagine getting really, really tired on that guy. And was kind of looking for a outlet to stay in the Colorado Springs area, or at least closer to his family, and still kind of be creative and have that really fun outlet. And at one point, he was flying back from a Vanity Fair shoot when he read an article in the New York Times about Hendrick's Gin and Sailor Jerry Rum, and how the owner of those 2 spirits actually did something completely different before he started making alcohol, and their lives were pretty similar. So when Michael read it, he was like, this is awesome. This guy decided to quit his job and his career path and just start making alcohol and beautiful spirits, because you see those everywhere. So that kind of stuck with him, and he decided that he was going to start whiskey. He loved whiskey. He was born in southern Georgia, so whiskey was pretty much in his blood at this point. So he decided to quit his international photography business, come to Colorado Springs, and they decided to stay here, and then start getting into the whiskey world. So in order to do that, you have to do a couple different things. Michael had to find a location. So right now we're in about 7,500 square feet. If you have ever stopped in, you will see that it is very, very big now, big for us at least. But what he started with was about a 339 square feet like space in the basement of one of the buildings right next door to us. So very tiny, just him figuring it all out. Another thing is you have to get a CSP, so just your distillery license, making sure that you're doing everything proper and perfect way. That usually takes about, I think it was about 8 months, maybe around there. And Michael did it in a quarter of the time, so about 6 weeks altogether. So he was pretty determined to do all this stuff. And then the third thing is you have to have a still. So a brand new still was kind of out of Michael's price range at that point. So he looked at building one and realized that all you really needed were copper plates. And these photos that you can see behind me are through a process called photogravure, which is taking a copper plate, getting an image engraved into it, and then getting prints out of it. So they're very, very beautiful. And that whole art show that Michael did that around was basically telling a story of his life. So it's very meaningful. So when Michael was reading about building a still, he was like, I have these copper plates. I can weld them together and make my first still. So our very first still is a one-of-a-kind piece. It's got the engravery still on them, which is super beautiful. Every piece of whiskey has touched that, every drop, every ounce. Even now, we still use it, and we've gone to a bigger still, so it's more of our dump pig now. But Michael released his first clear out of the still on 9/11 in 2011, and since then, he's kind of just been doing a lot. We won World's Best Rye in 2018. We just won America's Best New Make with our unaged rye, so that's our white dog. So a couple different things that we've won, a couple different events. As you can see, all of our bottles have stickers on them, and we hand label, hand bottle, do pretty much everything. We are grain to barrel to bottle, so very local. Everything has a purpose and a meaning, and we just want to make sure that we're putting a lot of love into our whiskey so that when you take it home, you feel that. But because of that, if you guys have never tried it, you can come in, buy some bottles, which is so awesome. But when we're back up and running, we can do a full tasting flight. This is typically what we do, and you guys get to go through about 8 1/4-ounce pours of everything that we have on. But I'm going to show you guys 2 different cocktails that are really, really popular. We're going to start with one that's a little bit more of that spring, summertime kind of taste and feel. It's called the Myers Lemon. It is inspired by Michael Myers. He loves bourbon lemonades and everything. So one of the old bartenders, when she was playing around, she started with something and wanted to make it a little bit more edgy and kind of created this Myers Lemon. So it's an Earl Grey infused American, which is a 7-month aged bourbon mash bill. It's aged in a used barrel, so it's very similar to a Highland Scotch. We just infuse some Earl Grey into it to kind of get that flavor out of it. It's got some lemon, some lavender simple syrup, and then some alpine liqueur. You can use yellow chartreuse if you ever want to try this and you feel like yellow chartreuse is a little bit more easier for you guys. So I'm going to get started. Sorry guys, I'm real awkward on Zoom also. All right, so we do about a 1/4 ounce of our alpine liqueur or yellow chartreuse if you've got it at your house. We do 1 full ounce of our lavender. We also have some different variations. I'm a little bit more boozy forward, so I like everything to have more alcohol for me. I do 1 ounce of lemon. And then I do 2 ounces of that American Earl Grey infusion. It's really herbally and light and refreshing, and you can pretty much drink it anytime and every time you would like. The infusion that we do, just a quick little info on infusions. Basically, we take a whole bottle of our American. We add about 6 bags, I think it's 6 bags of our Earl Grey, and we let it steep for about 30 minutes altogether. If you want to go a little bit smaller and not do a full bottle, that's totally okay. You can do about maybe 1 bag to 4 to 5 ounces. So that will be a cool little option if you guys want to try that out. I'm just going to shake this guy, and then we're going to strain it over. So it comes out this really, really pretty color. It just reminds me of like spring and summer. So this is kind of what I want to drink all the time now since it's getting a little bit warmer out. We just do a lemon wheel garnish. Let me grab my knife. I was all set up. So we'll just do a little quick lemon wheel. You can kind of have fun with it, whatever you want to do. I like to make it a little fancy. Nothing too crazy though. So just a cute little one, let it sit on there, and then it kind of looks like this. So it'll have more of that frothy top. You'll have your lemon wheel in there, and it's kind of got that really pretty color. You're going to taste a lot of that Earl Grey and a lot of that lavender. It's really going to complement each other. So I'll try this while we're making another one. Happy Thirsty Thursday. The next one is going to be more of a classic cocktail, and it's our Plana Classic. So we're going to do a Black Manhattan. The difference between a Black Manhattan is you're going to have black walnut bitters, some orange bitters, and then we're going to do an Amaro. We do a house Amaro, but you guys can buy Averna. The Averna is pretty easy to find. You can find it at any of your local liquor stores as well as those bitters. We like to get the Fee Brothers, Black Walnut, and the orange one. So just super simple. You can find these at most liquor stores. A lot of people use those orange bitters for old fashioned. So what I like to do is chill my glass, because you really want to make sure that cocktail is really, really cold. So you'll let that sit. I'm going to rinse this guy out. And we're going to use just this little guy because we're actually going to stir and not shake. We are going to put in 2 dashes of each of these bitters. I know a lot of my friends, when they make cocktails at home, they're like, I don't know what a dash is. So they're very, very small, and they kind of just do like a little dip like that. A dash is a full-on pour. So I just like to get my aggression out on those guys and make sure that I'm getting enough of that. So you can see altogether, it'll be a little bit extra. Nothing too crazy, but just enough to kind of give you that flavor. Then we are going to put in 1 ounce of our Amaro or your guys' Averna. We make our own. Like I said, we like to try and make everything that we can to make it all Distillery 291 branded. And then we're going to do 2 ounces of our small batch rye. When we started, we were doing it with our barrel proof. We would do about 1 ounce of our barrel proof to 1.5, which is really, really good. But that is really good when you are a whiskey drinker. This is an overall easy sipping whiskey cocktail. So we'll do 2 ounces of this. Where's my pen at? And then we're going to add some ice. And then stir this guy. So stirring is kind of a fun process. I like to just take the back of my spoon and then rim it around. That kind of makes it a little bit easier to stir everything. I know it's a little bit more difficult when you first start. So the biggest thing is that you don't want to move your wrist really. You just want to kind of move your spoon around. And you want to get to the perfect temperature. So you're going to spin for probably like 30 plus seconds. And we will let this go. I'll probably add some more ice right now. So we'll go a little bit longer. And then just until it feels pretty cold on the back of your hand is kind of when I know to stop. So we'll go there. I'm gonna just clean these out, make sure this is really, really cold. And then we're gonna dump that for our little strainer. So this is a lot different than the last one that you guys did. It fits perfectly into those pint glasses. And then we will just pour that out over this guy. We're going to express a lemon peel. So I'll take this. And then what you're going to do is just get a little bit of that piss out there, and then you're going to rim your glass. And you are going to garnish it with what everybody loves, which is Luxardo cherries. If you guys have any other ones, they will do equally as fine. These are just our favorite. So that's a pretty classic cocktail. It's a little bit more spirit forward than the last one that you guys saw. So this is our cocktail. Thank you guys.
Thank you so much, Candy. We did have some questions and then they were answered, but can you tell us what takeout cocktails you're offering right now for people?
So right now, we will probably be bringing those back up on Monday. We just have a few little things that we've got to kind of figure out and get all done. We want to make sure that they're perfect for that. But we do, yeah, there's an executive order. We just are waiting to get ordered in. A lot of this quarantine stuff is a lot different, so we're trying to make sure that we're to the bar that we can. But we do a couple different ones. We do rye and bourbon old fashioned, rye and bourbon double, so about 4 altogether. The Myers lemon, so that first one that I showed you guys. And then we do 2 kind of gimlet style cocktails with whiskey. So our white whiskeys like to put a lot into that like gin, tequila, vodka kind of world. So one of them is the Bafana, which is a cranberry, lime juice, simple syrup, and some alpine liqueur. The second one is La Loba, which is a blackberry and lavender infused white dog with lime juice and simple syrup. Super good, super light. And then the last one is going to be the Forgotten Woods. It's a little bit more towards the spirit forward, like your Black Manhattan. It's going to be cardamom bitters. Our House Amaro, we did a chai-infused rye, which infusion the same way that we did our Earl Grey. You let them sit. You want to make sure that that's not going to get too bitter. It's the perfect kind of steeping quality, just like you would steep tea. Normally, you can steep in alcohol the same, but really spirit forward, really like earthy. But yeah, those are our cocktails that we have.
Why am I the only one drinking?
I've got 2 cocktails, so I'm drinking with you.
Okay. Thanks, Emma. There you go.
Yeah.
Some whiskey going on.
I have a little as well. I mixed mine with the turmeric tea. It's really good.
All right, well, he's live.
Over here.
Look at everybody.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Candy, so much for showing us this cocktail. And you guys are doing Facebook Live too on every day or just Thursdays?
So Facebook and Instagram Live, we go live at 2 o'clock. So basically when we open, just like to do a quick check-in. We are all staying very positive, so we try to be a bit more fun here just because that's how we are as a distillery in general. So 2 o'clock and 5 o'clock. Most of the time we are going to have live music. So about 3 to 4 times a week we'll do live music. And we'll definitely know on that 2 o'clock update. But today at 5 o'clock, I'm going to be doing like a quick little tutorial on how we do our infusions on both Facebook Live and Instagram Live. Distillery 291.